Hi guys, and welcome to Premier League Fiction Week 14, and there is no lunchtime kickoff tomorrow, so we go straight into the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we start with Bournemouth versus Everton. And as we know, Bournemouth can be quite attacking, and they can score quite a lot of goals. They've seemed to have struggled without Callum Wilson the past couple of weeks, but they are still finding goals here and there. Not picking up results as much though. And as I said, Everton have handled very strong this year. As I said, they seem to be in a lot of business this year, and I think that Everton can win this tomorrow. Very tight. I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, Everton 2. Then we have Aston Villa versus Watford, and again, we seem to say the same thing about Watford every single week. They don't concede a lot of goals. I thought they were very unfortunate last week. To come away with nothing in the game against Manchester United. They did very well to get the penalty. But all fairness to Manchester United, they kept going, and they won in the end, and Watford didn't get anything out of the game. But if you'd watched the game, I thought Watford were the very strong, were the much stronger side in the second half. Um, and as I say, I think they're unfortunate to get anything. Aston Villa, on the other hand, as I said, they looked quite strong against Tottenham for the last 20 minutes of that game. Um, I think Manchester City just didn't turn up against them the week before, and I can't remember how Aston Villa got on last week. But I'm going to go for a tight game this week. I'm going to go Villa 1, Watford 1. Then we have Sunderland versus Stoke, and probably a lot of people are going to raise a few eyebrows at me at this one. Sunderland are at home, and I fancy them to nick this one. I'm going to go Sunderland 1, Stoke 0. Then we have Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. I think that could be quite a good game. Newcastle is going to be a very hard place to go to. Selhurst Park, again, a bit like Watford. They don't let a lot, excuse me. They don't let a lot of goals in, and they have got a couple of goals in them as well. But I think this game's going to be quite tight. I'm going to go Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 1. Then we have Manchester City versus Southampton, and I for one did not see that coming last week. Manchester City getting absolutely battered by Liverpool, not just by scoreline, but Liverpool absolutely just picked them off the park. They were absolutely rubbish, Manchester City, and hadn't said that, it was a fantastic goal from Sergio Aguero. Let's take nothing away from that goal, but apart from that, they were absolutely dreadful. Not too sure how they got on in the week in the Champions League. I think they've qualified now or top the group. I'm not too sure. But I fancy Southampton in this game. I think that they can nick it. With Manchester City being on a low at the moment, drawing to Aston Villa and then getting battered to Liverpool last week. I fancy Southampton to get something out of this game. So I've gone Man City 1, Southampton 2. Then we have the 5:30 kickoff, which is one I'm really looking forward to, which is Leicester versus Manchester United. And again, what more can you say about Jamie Vardy? I think he's scored in every single goal this season, and I think he can overtake Ruben Nistelrooy's record tomorrow if he scores. And let's move on to Manchester United. Again, don't think they played their best football last week, but they kept going to the end, and they got their reward, and came away getting with the 3 points. They were top of the league for a couple of hours before Leicester, of all the teams that could have gone top of the league last week. Leicester's at the top of the league, so that's going to be interesting this week. First meet second, and but being at home and the way Manchester United played last week, I think that Leicester's got a little bit more about them than Watford. No disrespect to Watford. I think Leicester will take their chances, and I've gone Leicester 2, Manchester United 1. Then we have four. I think it's 4 Sunday games. We start the 12 o'clock one, which is a derby, Tottenham versus Chelsea, and I fancy Chelsea to. I fancy Spurs to win this one. I've gone Spurs 2, Chelsea 0. As again, I just think that Tottenham, they've been fantastic this year. As I said last week, and let's take nothing away from the way they've been playing and stuff like that. I mean, I know a lot of them have been draws and that, but let's take nothing away from that. I mean, that is credit. Um, to go 13 or 12 games unbeaten now, that's absolutely fantastic, and I think they're going to be too strong for Chelsea. at this moment in time, so I've gone Spurs 2, Chelsea 0. Then we have a 2 kick-off on the Sunday, which is West Ham versus West Brom, and I think that's going to be quite a tight game. I think both teams will get something out of that one. I've gone 1-1 for that game. We have 2 4:15 kick-offs. We start with the first one, Liverpool versus Swansea, and I think Liverpool are going to be absolutely buzzing with confidence after last week. You know, who would have thought they would go to Manchester City and get a 4-1 there? Who would have thought they would have gone to Stamford Bridge a couple of weeks ago and got 3-1 there? Jurgen Klopp really seems to have turned that team around at the moment. You know, they're looking like real title contenders. I really do think now, and I think they've got no problem getting to the top 4. I think Tottenham, you know, if they can turn some of them draws into wins, I think that they can, you know, get into the top 4 as well, and maybe be title contenders as well. Remember, Claude of Arsenal Fan TV said they're serious title contenders this year, so we'll see. It's very tight this year, but going back to Liverpool, you know, as I say, buzzing with confidence, and you know, Swansea haven't been at their best this season, which has been really disappointing. I don't think they've won many this year, and I think Liverpool are going to win this quite easily. I've gone Liverpool 3, Swansea 0, and then we go to the last game at 4:15, which is Norwich versus Arsenal. And Arsenal were absolutely dreadful last week against West Bromwich. It did not look like the Arsenal that we know, and the way they can play football, I thought they were absolutely terrible. And I think we haven't really looked right since we got battered 5-1 to Bayern Munich. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't really want to look at that as an excuse, but it really does look like it's took it out of us. We did on the other hand get a very good win on Tuesday night, against Dynamo Zagreb, and hopefully that's give us some confidence to go into the game on Sunday and get something. But I don't think we'll win it, to be honest. I think Norwich will get something as well, being the home team. So I've gone Norwich 1, Arsenal 1. So that has been my predictions for this week, guys, and I will see you next week for next week's prediction. Thank you for watching, guys.